I'd like to call this meeting of the Planning Commission to order. Our first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah, next order of business is approval of the minutes. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
I didn't see any. I'll move to approve.
It's been moved that we approve the minutes. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Okay, motion carries. We're approved. The next order of business is citizen comments. These are for comments by the citizens of things that are not on the agenda this evening. If you wish to speak, come to the table.
Oh, yeah, I can also move the podium over too.
Okay,
I'll just use the side of it.
that's fine.
Sit at the table as well.
State your name and your address. Are there any comments? Okay, seeing none, I have one. It's not a comment. We, as members of the Planning Commission, are also members of what's known as the Maryland MPCA, Maryland Planning Commissioners Association. It's an association for citizen planners. And we have educational programs and do a lot of different things. Myself and Bill are on the executive board for that organization, and we're going to have our annual conference in Frederick this year. But what I wanted to do was to give our two newest members, Steve, there's one for you, one for you. There are MPCA lapel pins that you can wear proudly.
And Brian, we have one earmarked.
Yeah, we have one here
too.
for you too, Brian.
Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome.
I hope Ralph gets one.
We'll give one to Ralph.
Okay.
One for him.
So why don't we, while we're talking about this, why don't we take a show of hands, who wants to go to the meeting so I can register that and get it done tomorrow? That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Brian Beta.
Brian, are you able to attend the conference in October?
26, 27?
Yes.
Yes, I will make it.
Okay.
Have each of you had the opportunity to take a look at the preliminary agenda and see some of the topics and presentations?
Yeah.
That'll be, it's usually some very, very good stuff.
Yep, there are. Okay.
Roxanne, one more thing, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I would think Ralph would probably be going, and probably also Leslie, you think, as well?
I don't know with Leslie's
I'll reach
schedule
out to
now.
Leslie, but I suspect Ralph is going too. So that's 7 people that'll be going.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah, maybe you give a preliminary count, and if you need to adjust it later, you can.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, next we hear from our Carroll and Frederick planners. I take it, I'm going to kind of reverse the order because Tim is not coming, correct? He just gave us a,
I thought he was supposed to be here at the last meeting. I thought he said he was going
I
to
thought
be
he
coming
was
and give
too.
a report, but I suspect by him emailing the report, I suspect he's not able to come today. He didn't say that in his email to me.
okay.
But by his lack of presence here, I'm thinking that's probably sort of a given. But his report is inside your packets.
Yeah.
I emailed it. There's also additional copies out front.
And apparently from some of the local press I've seen in the Frederick News Post, there is some backlash from homeowners in the Sugarloaf area.
Yep, I think there's definitely some controversial issues there.
Yep.
Okay, so our next order of business is Hannah Weber, our Carroll County planner.
There she is. Cool.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. I actually have quite a few updates this month,
Awesome.
keeping it interesting in Carroll County. The Ag Conservation zoning text amendment that I've been consistently updating you on is with the county commissioners. We are working with them on Thursdays with work sessions. I believe the one this coming Thursday will be our 4th work session with them. We don't know yet when they will be voting on anything, but it will have to go through public hearing for public comment and all things like that. Next, we have the pre-tour with the state's transportation priorities. This is a tour that happens every year. The state puts out a booklet of all of their priorities in ranking funding for different transportation projects. The first tour is September 19th for town staff, town and county staff, and then the tour with elected officials is on October 13th. Next, I have the annexation that I see you guys will be discussing tonight. We are currently processing that at the county. There is a zoning waiver required for the annexation, so the county commissioners will have to approve that. We have dates set with the Planning Commission this coming Wednesday, the 31st. That is a night meeting. And then we have September 20th with the Planning Commission, and then we have September 22nd with the county commissioners, where they may or may not approve the zoning waiver at that meeting. And then also we have 2 piecemeal rezonings at the county. We have one currently in Taylorsville and then one in the growth area of Westminster. Would you like me to repeat anything?
Yes, the annexation, the meetings, the first meeting is the 31st with the
Correct.
Planning Commission.
Yep.
Is that who's going to need to approve the waiver?
No, they give a recommendation to
Okay.
the county commissioners. And, sorry, the 31st will just be an introduction to the Planning Commission, and then they'll make their formal recommendation to the county commissioners on September 20th.
And those are both day meetings?
The one on Wednesday is an evening meeting. It starts at 6 p.m. and it'll be virtual. And then the September 20th meeting where they will make the formal recommendation will be a daytime meeting.
You had one more date in there?
And then the county commissioners is September 22nd, that Thursday, and their open session.
Hannah, could you email to John either the website or the address of all of that? So
Yeah.
if we're able, individually, we could link up and do it. Okay.
And what were the rezonings you said at the very last?
Yeah, so we have received 2 petitions for rezoning, one in the Taylorsville, right on the intersection of 26 and 27, and then one for the Westminster YMCA.
Thank you.
Thank you. What was the piecemeal rezoning for the corner of 2627?
It's adjacent to the corner pub, Vanessa's Corner Pub, the property right next door to that,
What did they want to,
Going,
going from what to what?
going to Frederick County.
From residential
oh, okay, on,
to
Yeah.
commercial.
on
I think.
26.
On 26.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
they are currently ag, and they are requesting to go to commercial medium or C2.
How many acres?
I believe it's like 7 acres.
7 acres, okay. So
Yeah.
it's a little plot of land.
Yeah, that was subdivided off from the residential pieces to the north.
Okay. Has there been any movement, to your knowledge? I thought there was supposed to be, say, going towards Eldersburg on 2627, there was supposed to be like a strip mall there or something with an auto park. Has that
I
moved
have
forward
not
any?
heard anything about that.
So that was a plan that was under review when I was at the county. I think it did get final plan approval, so I suspect it's been getting extensions of that final plan.
Okay.
It was a I think it had mini storage, I think it had a strip mall, and it also had, I don't think it was an automotive repair,
Okay.
but it was multiple buildings, one of them being a mini storage. It's right beside Man's, at the liquor store.
Yeah.
There's a parcel there. Currently, it has a sign on it saying, commercial development coming soon.
Okay.
You know, so I think it was approved plan back in Carroll County.
Okay, I was just wondering if any movement, because that, and then the other commercial next to the pub. But so Taylorsville, ag, well, what was the commercial zone?
It's currently zoned agriculture, and they're requesting to go to C2.
C2?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's the same for the Westminster YMCA.
Didn't they move, or they just?
No, it's the same, yeah. They're
Okay.
still located there.
Okay.
Okay, anything else for Hannah?
Hannah, we had heard that one of the possible upgrades of the senior centers in in the county was going to be the Westminster Senior Center. I mean, do you know?
I am not aware of that. I can talk to Citizen Services tomorrow, but that's not really something I deal with personally.
All right.
Hannah, sorry, one more question, just to make sure. The tour of the state transportation officials, is there a preliminary list of the projects that there will be?
I believe there is. I think it became available. It's going to become available this week. I can, yeah, I was gonna send it out when I get a copy of it.
Can John just, because I want to make sure Route 27 and we're included on the list, or at least on it,
I think we
for them
did
to
make
come
it on
tour.
the preliminary list I saw, we
was-
were on it. I
Okay,
think we were 3 or 4 or something.
okay,
I don't know.
all right. Just making sure. All righty, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Hannah.
And the next item is the introduction and possible approval for a one-year extension request, Twin Arch Business Park Lot 17. They're requesting a one-year extension of the approved site development plan for King Sports Construction. John, is there any comments that you have on this before we go to the
Well, I have
applicant?
Ron come up, of course, because
Okay.
he is the engineer of record. And I will let him plead his case.
Anmar Associates. Actually, the lot is now owned by J&J Trash Services. And John apologizes for not being here tonight, family time, which I said, please do your family time as opposed to coming to the meeting. The lot is currently under construction. All of the grading has been completed, stone being put down, and utilities have been extended into the lot. We just were unable to get a building permit filed within the time frame, and that's why we're asking for the one-year extension, because you measure based on building permits being issued. So grading permit was issued, work been done. They've met with Barney out there on the work, and we're just asking that it be allowed to be continued for 1 year until the building permit is issued, probably, well, it'll be sometime this year, towards the end of this year.
Ron, in your experience, is the pace of development such that it's more frequent that there may need to be a request for an
Well,
extension?
this will actually be the last request for Twin Arch Business Park. And you look at the lots, not Lot 19 you approved, that's under construction, and the building permit probably should be filed before the end of the year. I know they're working on that. Lot 18 was completed, that's J&J. 17 under construction. Lot 16A is under construction, and the building is 30% complete. They're putting the siding on right now for it, and most of the site work done other than paving. The last lot will be Lot 14A, and that will be probably submitted late September. I still need to do the geotech testing for stormwater management. But once I'm able to complete that, then we'll be able to make that submission. And that then wraps up Twin Arch Business Park. And then, once we get the lots built out, then we are able to complete the roadway and have dock out of it.
How long has that process been rolling out, the development of Twin Arch Business Park?
It was
long has
ongoing
it taken?
before I joined Van Mar in 2006. I think the preliminary plan was in the 90s there. And I believe for Twin Arch Section 4 was probably around 2008, 2006 it came out. And about that time is when the market took a dive. And we did the infrastructure and worked out an arrangement on the public PWA with the town to split it into 2 phases. So I'm guessing around 2007, 2008 was when the last section of roadway was done. And of course, you can't start the lots until the road's done. So that took a year, year and a half.
And just for the record, when did Brittany Manor start?
I think when Doc was a young man,
Yeah,
all seriousness, I know that he had to wait well over 10 years for water to get straightened around within the town. And I think when I started working on Brittany Manor, about that time, 2008 or so. So it was in the 90s when Brittany Manor started.
and they just have finished their last lot, right?
Yes, they're in the process now of finalizing, working with Barney to finalize the streets, put the top course on, install the street lights. We're working on Backacre Circle to install the sidewalks this fall and the street lights. A little delay in the street lights. Side note, getting the plastic manholes are back ordered due to COVID. And therefore, the poles are direct burial, and they can't get the little plastic handholds in order to connect the lights up.
Yes, everyone's having that issue.
So, you know, everybody galloping to the end out there, and I appreciate your extension for 1 year so we can complete it.
Hey, Ron, while they're looking, just quick, is 17 next to the J&J Trash Services existing now? Okay,
It is,
To the east.
thank you, to the
the
east.
east of it, okay. Is that, okay, yeah, I drive back every once in a while, I'm just trying to figure out where the lots are back
You're
there.
facing the J&J Trash, it's the lot to the right.
Okay, cool, thank you.
One on a grading between J&J and Priority Install that has the building going up.
Staff is recommending the approval of the extension due to they are diligently working towards finishing the site.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Having a spouse that's in the restaurant construction business, I hear it every day on the phone. Everything is 18 weeks, 20 weeks, 5 months, next year. So I can understand and sympathize with them. I don't see a problem with it. Does anyone have any questions?
No.
Do we need a formal motion?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve the 1-year extension.
It's been moved that we plan the 1-year extension for J&J Trash Services on Lot 17 in Twin Arch Business Park. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded that we grant the extension. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Are you just going to stay there? Okay, next is the introduction and discussion of the Annexation Resolution 2022-45. That's the Buffalo Road Investment LLC, full property. We are discussing the petition request to annex 8.3360 acres on the east side of Buffalo Road. John, do you want to start, or do you want to have Ron start?
I will let Ron pitch his
Okay?
presentation.
Well, thank you again, Ron Thompson, Van Mar Associates. With me, Clark Schaefer, attorney for the Full family. Doc Full, at 97 years old, has limited mobility, so he is not going to be here
Excuse him,
tonight.
yes.
There's unlimited liability.
I was going to say, yes.
The site has quite a history with the town of Mount Airy. At one time, Doc was actually proposing to build a recreational facility on the property, an indoor arena, outdoor putt-putt. And the town did not support that process. So it has sat there for a number of years, and quite frankly, this is the last piece of property that he owns.
Wow.
To considering everything from all of Twin Arch and Brittany Manor and other things. This
Not literally, the last piece of development property.
development property in the town. So what we are proposing is that this property be annexed about 8.34 acres into the town. It's bordered by the town with the ballpark, East Park, I think it's,
I'm sorry?
I think the Recreation East Park or
Summit Ridge.
Ridge,
Ridge Park.
yeah.
Ballpark, a recreational facility there. And then there is the town behind it, wetlands behind it, backing up to Summit Ridge. We're proposing that the development be completed as a cluster, under Chapter 9823.
Hold on one second, Ron. We're getting feedback on the phone.
Is there any way you can mute the phone?
I'm gonna,
We don't hear his vocals. He should still be able to hear us.
yeah, Brian, can you mute your phone? Okay, thank you. Okay, go ahead. Thank you, Ron.
So it would be developed under Chapter 9823, which is your cluster development. That results in potentially 9 lots, single street, and 53% open space for the development.
Is that usable open space, or is that just total open space?
Total open space. Because you have stream buffers and
Floodplain?
steep slopes, most steep slopes are elsewhere, but you still have to account for all of it in there, and you also subtract out roadways, dedications. It is relatively small, fits within the neighborhood, particularly adjacent to Summit Ridge.
Yeah, I rode by it Sunday morning.
And all within Carroll County. And we think that it makes excellent planning for the town to take it in.
If I may add, the cluster development would result in a density identical or very identical to the R40 zoning that's on it now. In other words, about 1 lot per acre. Even though under your R2 zoning category, technically, we'd be eligible for up to 2 lots per acre, assuming we could meet your open space requirements. Of course, in order to do it the way we want to do it and meet your requirements, we're at about 1 lot per acre, which is consistent with the density in that area.
That's consistent with the county, yeah.
Any questions from the commission members?
Madam Chair, I have some questions, but I'll go last if anybody else has any first.
When they're finished, we will open it to the public, yes. Thank you. No, that's,
Okay. Oh, I just have one. So if you're going to do the same as, you're potentially doing the same as R40 in R2, why change it to an R2?
Because we're creating open space. And the town prefers to do development, residential development under 9823. That's the code that Brittany Manor was developed under. Lost a lot of lots because of that code, and the same here. And Dennis, the Dennis Kitchen subdivision is actually under that code, although the number of lots were specified by the BZA, but nevertheless, it does have the same attributes.
we also have, that's okay. The review, the annexation review from the Maryland Department of Planning that is asking us, our zoning density is not consistent, so we're going to have to ask for a waiver anyway. So we're just kind of giving the approval to go back to the town council for the resolution.
Yeah, it'd be a recommendation
Right.
with conditions or without conditions.
And there would be conditions. One of those conditions, of course, would be, this is in our future growth plan. It's, so they would have to apply for water, because it's not in there.
Currently, the water and sewer master plans, this is considered long-range, which is 20 years out or more. So it'll have to be amended. If we can make the fall cycle, if it's approved as an annexation through town council, if we can meet the fall amendment schedule, we will. If not, it'll be the spring amendment schedule with Carroll County and MDE, et cetera.
I think one point to note, consistent with the questions, actually, I was pleasantly surprised that the process between the town and the county are rather synced up nicely, in that we potentially could have a zoning waiver approval before there was a final decision in the town.
Right.
Because with a recommendation from the Planning Commission back to the council, they would then need to, at least 1 or 2 months out, schedule a public hearing, which would be after the county has granted the waiver.
Yeah, they do it a lot different than Frederick County. Any other questions before Carl starts his questions?
I just wanted to clarify the number of homes you were talking about. It's not,
Nine.
Maximum is 9.
okay.
Those computations have to be verified by the town engineer, but the maximum,
No more.
9, no more.
Okay, thank you.
And the open space is about 53% of the land.
Total. Okay, thank you.
I just want to make sure.
Okay,
Am I good, Roxanne?
yeah, you're good.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to clarify the number of homes too, is like you kept saying 9, that's fine. If one of the conditions was to be either put on here or at the council of, no more than 9, would you be amicable to that?
Can't do any more than 9.
Since,
That's fine, because
yeah,
physically, I can't
You can't get any more.
more than 9 because of the
I know. I just want to
way
make
the
sure.
land is.
And just a couple clarifying questions on and I noticed on the site plan, there's an existing well and an existing building currently in the open space area. Is the building going to be removed prior to any development taking place?
The building, that would all be part of a subdivision plan.
Okay,
That would have to, the health department would require the well to be properly abandoned,
my second question.
the permit, and as well as a demolition permit would have to be issued for the removal of the building.
Okay, anyway, the well was my second question, so thank you. That's it, Roxanne. Thank
Okay.
you. Yeah.
I don't have any other questions. I feel confident that we can move forward, but first we have to hear from the public. So anyone do you have any other questions, you'd come up to the podium, please state your name and your address.
I think we aren't requiring the address, we just require to say if you're in the town residence, if you're a town resident or not.
Whatever you want.
That's good
New
enough.
policy, They've changed it.
Brian Catula, yes, I am a town resident. So I heard you say that, it's an annexation of 8.3 acres. Can you clarify for me the size of the lots?
The lot areas will be between, around 11,000 square feet. The largest looks to be about 14,000.
All right, because I thought I heard you say an acre.
What we're equating it to, Brian, is that if you were to take 9 lots and distribute them over the entire property, it would be approximately 1 lot per acre if we kept the R40
Right.
designation. But in this case, we're going with the cluster or smaller lots. So each of the lots would be between, right now, we're thinking they're between 11,000 to 14,000 square feet.
All right, I missed that, because that's what I was looking at, thinking, all right, the numbers didn't quite add up. If you were saying 9, about an acre, that's over 9 acres, and then 53% clear
That's
space.
probably my fault. If I misspoke, what I meant to say is the density is one lot per acre, not the actual lot size. No,
Gotcha.
Yeah, because it's
All right, thanks.
Anyone else have any comments?
relatively small portion. This is out of 30 acres.
Nicole Brooks. I am not a town resident. I'm actually the lot right next door at 6801 Buffalo Road.
Nicole, can you bring your mic closer to your mouth?
Sure.
Thank you.
Do you guys have any sort of grading plan for this yet?
We do not.
Okay. Are you guys going to provide any sort of recreational trails in the green space that you're not developing?
Do not know. That's really a condition that the Planning Commission would bring up with us.
Okay, because we already have a lot of trespassers on our property just because of the pond and fishing. And with 3 little kids, we don't really want any more. So are you guys going to have is the town going to require a pattern book?
No, this is not a mixed use.
Okay.
But it will be a it will have a plat, and we will be able to see what the houses are going to look like.
Okay.
Yes,
Will they bring them the elevations and
Yes,
plans from
yes.
the county? Okay.
Well, Normally, we don't require that, but we can ask for,
For residential, we don't know who the builder will be.
right, but we will, eventually we'll see it.
Okay. So there will be some sort of standard.
Yes,
Okay. All right. That's it. Thank you.
thank you.
I'm Carl Harrington, and I am in the town limits. Hey, so you say, I live in Summit Ridge, I'm the development back behind where you guys are proposing this. You said they're going to be like houses, so they're going to be 2-story dwellings, and is it too early to kind of gauge what the square footage of the houses are planned?
I think it is, if, probably an example, I think the lots in Brittany Manor were of similar size. And if you look at those houses, they're 2-story, front porch, double-car garage.
Okay. And do you know, will this be an HOA community, or will this be a non-HOA community?
We're not planning it to be an HOA. If the town takes the open space due to their deficiency of open space, there wouldn't be.
Let me just say that unless the town takes the open space, there's going to have to be some entity that has the responsibility to maintain and operate that open space. So there could be an HOA, and probably would be, unless the town wants to take title to that open space, which I doubt if that's in the cards, but if it happened. But otherwise, we have to create an entity, and it would be an HOA that would ensure that, manage it, and be responsible for it, yes.
Right. And then lastly is, as you come down Buffalo Road, you guys sit up by the ball field, and then it continues to go on down toward our back entrance of Summit Ridge. I don't know if you guys, we already have an issue when we have a lot of rain. We have a slow drain down there, and then it fills up Buffalo Road, and, it works its way out. But adding more development and more runoff, is that a cause for concern?
Well, it's a concern to us because we're going to have to meet stormwater management regulations, and they are quite strict. In the old days, they weren't strict enough, as you can see some of the effects of the older development. But they're quite strict. We're going to have to meet them, and they're going to require us to manage both the quantity and the quality of water that comes off of the impervious surfaces there.
Okay.
I can't promise that'll fix existing situations, but it'll handle our water. I can guarantee you that the county stormwater management engineer is quite strict.
Okay. And lastly, is you doing any sidewalk additions along Buffalo Road with, or can the town request them? It'd be nice that, like, Summit Ridge has a sidewalk that goes part of the way up. It'd be extremely nice with all the additions we're doing to town to promote us getting to and from the town. Everybody knows what Buffalo Road's like right there on that curve.
Yep.
So could we consider that as an option with the town saying, yeah, we can do it, but maybe add a little sidewalk connecting?
Typically, the town would require improvements to Buffalo Road.
Right.
Most likely will include a sidewalk.
Sidewalk.
And that's
On the
actually be
frontage.
part of the actual site development plan,
Yeah.
which will be a concept and final. It'll come through Planning Commission, where you'll also be notified by mailings of the up-and-coming meetings.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ron, just for comparison's sake, what's the relative ratio of existing homes in Summit Ridge versus the proposed 9 or so homes in this property?
Got to be at least 150 or more, I would think.
He means 1 per acre,
Oh.
more than 1
Well,
per acre.
no, actually, my first question was going to be in total. You know,
Number of homes.
Yeah, it seemed to me that there was a multiple
It's
number
a,
of
it's a
homes.
large development.
Yeah, so in terms of water runoff and drainage and some of those concerns, it might not be as great an issue as we might suspect, because you have a preponderance of existing, many more homes already that are contributing to that.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. I'm Dave Boatler. I'm a town resident. I live right next to the soccer field there at Summit Ridge. I was wondering what the plan for the road, how many entrances are going to be coming onto that property? Is it going to be a, horseshoe, or is there any plan for that yet?
It will be a cul-de-sac roadway, one entrance.
And will there be a stop sign? Because I know at Summit Ridge there's like a 3-way stop, and is there going to be another 3-way stop there? Is it just going to be a stop sign from their neighborhood getting onto Buffalo?
That would be, I know there'd be a stop sign for our street.
Right.
Any other stop signs would be
To the
up to the
town.
town of Mount Airy.
Okay. Yeah, I'd love another stop sign and slow it down a little bit, but thank you.
You're welcome.
I
Thank
doubt
you.
we would require one right on the curve like that.
Right.
Because there's a
What about a
certain
curve?
distance you have for stopping distance. I don't think there'd be an additional sign currently, unless it becomes an issue, and then possibly, but.
Very good, thanks.
Is there any other discussion at this time? We can, if everyone here at the table feels comfortable, we can make a motion to just give approval to the town council for the resolution, and then it's up to the town council, obviously, to make the final decision. We just have to say, give a positive or negative recommendation.
Would we have to say with the waiver from Carroll County or not in our recommendation?
I don't think we'd have to, because the letter's already been stated.
The way the resolution is drafted, actually, it says conditions,
It's-
the
yeah.
annexation already,
Yeah,
and then a waiver if one is necessary.
yeah,
Okay, so it's already in here. Okay, thank you.
yeah.
It's already the context.
That's right.
And I don't think anything else that we need to add anything else at this time, because the site plan's gonna come back here, so we can
Right.
do some stuff. We can add things there. Do I hear a motion?
Also move.
Okay, it's been moved that we give a favorable recommendation to the town council for the annexation resolution 2022-45. Is there a second to this?
I'll second.
And seconded that we give a positive or favorable recommendation to the town council for this annexation resolution. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, we can send that back to the town council for action. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is ordinance 2022-25, proposed changes to the APFO and mixed-use zoning district, with possible discussion and recommendation to the town council. I have to get my ordinance out here, can't find it. All righty. Tom, do you want to give some introduction or background in this ordinance?
I'm going to kick it to Carl Munder since he is.
Oh, I said Tom.
Oh,
You
Tom.
said
I
Tom,
thought you said John. I could have sworn you said John. I'm
You just
sorry.
bogarted Tom.
John, the last time you recommended me to speak, I got some email, so I was going to let the town attorney take
That's
take
fine.
this
That's
one.
fine. I'm
Thanks.
sorry. I thought you said John. I got to get my hearing aids. Gosh.
Councilman Munder addressed.
Nice.
Basically, the ordinance as drafted suggests some revisions to the APFO on the one hand, and then on the other hand, the ordinance that deals with open space. Recall that even and irrespective of when the town is in deficit in terms of open space, which we are, or even if we're in surplus, an open space project must provide 10% open space. That is different than the question of what the APFO requires, which the APFO is sort of puts the brakes for a time on a development when, with respect to open space at least, the town is in deficit. Again, the town is in deficit. However, under the current APFO that the town has with respect to open space and mixed-use type of development, the Planning Commission is empowered to grant a waiver of what otherwise would be the case when we're inadequate, and that is that the development can't, at least for a time, move forward. If and as long as the town is providing the minimum 10% open space that is required always, irrespective of whether adequate or inadequate. So I think this proposed ordinance would make changes to that in significant respects, I would say. It first of all would, trying to find it, Carl.
Oh, which one? Oh, sorry, it would raise it, if I'm understanding what Tom is talking about, it would raise it up to 50% minimum or max, or it would be 50% of total gross acreage would be required as the open space on MXD development. Either if we're designated inadequate or adequate. I believe 9823 handles when we're inadequate, how much a residential development needs to put in. So an MXD development, if we became adequate for some reason during an MXD would have to be required to required to give the town or have open space percentages within the development similar to an R5 or R7 development, which are the most dense developments within town for the open space.
Right, so the APFO waiver would still work the same in the sense that whatever the minimum is, if it's provided, then the property qualifies for a waiver from the break sort of that the APFO puts on a development. It's just that the proposal would change the amount required, both in the best of times, worst of times, 50%, and then concomitant to that would be a 50% threshold under the APFO to qualify for a waiver under the APFO granted by the Town Planning Commission. Carl, I don't remember if there are other.
No, there were other changes to the document. The APFO was one of them. I mean, it is open for discussion on the percentages. It added, I believe, added the purpose statements in it that just more clarified the purpose statement. MXD district is intended to provide attractive residential neighborhoods containing a mixture of detached dwellings, semi-detached dwellings, townhomes, multifamily, a couple other things to promote housing diversity and pedestrian-friendly environment. MXD district is intended to provide flexibility in design residential neighborhoods in a safe, attractive, environmentally responsible manner. That is on page 3 of 10. Most of the rest on that was left the same until you got to page 6 of 10. We added, or excuse me, I added to a non-permitted use on an MXD, since this is supposed to be residential, attractive development. I want to say almost Center Street would be a gateway to town. So we do have some restrictive or non-permitted uses currently as pawn shops, vape shops, and dispensaries. Dispensaries are related to medical marijuana. I'm adding a business that primarily sells tobacco products or cannabis for personal or recreational purposes would not be allowed to set up shop in a MXD zone. There are other areas in town that are more commercial that would be better suited for vapes, for tobacco shops, or a shop that sells cannabis for personal recreational purposes if it becomes legal in Maryland. So I'm trying to plan ahead on that one.
Where are you? Which page, please?
Page 6 of 10.
E4.
Yeah, E4.
I got it.
Because the discussion for recreational cannabis will come up again during this general session, so I'm trying to be proactive instead of reactive on that one. F, I changed from currently the ratios are based on gross developable acreage. I want to change that to net developable acreage instead of gross for the ratio mix. Farther down on that page, H, which is the density, I put in a range for discussion purposes, a maximum of 8 to 12 for net developable acreage, because the current 8 is based on the gross. So I was trying to, be a little bit fair to any developer that would be interested in it, to have a potential range of housing units on the property. Instead, because I believe an 8 per net would be a little bit overly restrictive on that. It would impose what's currently in the townhouse, things of no more than 5 attached townhouses in a group of dwelling units. I took wording from, I believe, the current R5 in H3 that sets ratios of the type of housing units that could be built in it. So hopefully that would limit the discussion and the angst in the public regarding everything leaning towards townhomes or that. It would potentially have at least require a base minimum of mixed housing variety. I added limiting on the next page, page 7, number D at the top. It puts a hard percentage of the multifamily dwelling units, which is AKA apartments. I also included hotel rooms to be included as multifamily dwelling units. It says no more than 10% of the total units could be multifamily dwelling. Some people commented when I shared it that the apartment should be taken out. I unfortunately do not agree with that. It sets a hard number of no more than 2 standalone multifamily dwelling units shall be allowed, including a hotel. So that the number of multifamily, again, is set at a max of 150. It has minimum lot size yard widths, which is lacking currently in the MXD. Again, it's taken from, all these lot yarding widths are taken from current code, primarily the R5 and R7. So there's nothing new to that the town has not seen or is not already being used in practice. A lot of the other ones on page 8, 7, and 8 are the same thing as just setting the minimum lot sizes and the setbacks into code. Again, I did not create any new setbacks that the town is not already currently using on it. Page 9 of 10, it also requires MXD, townhomes and MXD to set the, to be built or be held to the standard that the town currently uses for townhouses. This was removed in the original MXD, so I put that back in because all the plans we have seen so far seem to be leaning towards, I want to say, a majority of townhomes potentially. So I believe that should be, no matter what, they should be held to the same standard as previous townhouse communities. And that was about it, I believe. I think on 9H, on L on page 9 was just for clarifying or taking out some existing wording. Is that?
And moving it to
H.
Okay.
I mean, no decision has to be made tonight. I mean, we are, sorry,
not-
Roxanne. Sorry, I overstepped. I
I'm going to
apologize.
suggest that we don't, because there are some things I want to look into.
Yeah.
One of the questions is, first of all, by the time you get everything done, taken out, the builder's going to be building about 4 houses. I think that 50%, I'm saying 50% of the property is in open space. Tom, correct me if I'm wrong, that's almost like a taking of the property.
I won't agree to that necessarily, but that's all I prefer to say.
Okay,
I mean,
thank you.
Roxanne, I mean.
I'm not finished, please.
Sorry. Okay, yes, ma'am, sorry.
We have to look into the legalities of zoning out the medical marijuana. When we first started talking about this in the state level, they were talking about you could disallow, but you could not zone it out.
Can't zone it out of the entirety of the town.
Okay, all right.
But it doesn't say medical either in here.
It doesn't say what?
It doesn't say medical. It only says personal or recreational.
Well, it does say dispensary is number 3.
Dispensary is medical.
That's, it doesn't say medical, but that's the.
That's a dispensary is medical.
Ordinance.
That's existing.
Right, exactly. So medical marijuana would, I think, be allowed in the I district possibly, is where I think they're.
Okay.
If it has to be in the town, I think that's where they're saying the industrial.
Yeah, Roxanne,
Yes,
dispensaries are allowed in Maryland.
I'm sorry?
Dispensaries are allowed in Maryland,
Yes, yes,
Frederick and around us.
yes.
If the proprietor has $200,000 to start this business, he should be allowed to do it, just like any other retail business.
No, yeah, we have dispensaries are allowed.
There's just one thing I noticed on, there is actually a section for video rentals establishments. Why was that even in there?
That was in the original
Adult
code,
entertainment.
video dispensaries, or video rental.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's original code, Brian.
Yeah, we could, I mean, there aren't, I guess if somebody wanted to put in a Blockbuster again, they could, but I don't think that's going to happen.
No, hey, Brian. No, it's related to, that's allowed use as video, just not adult entertainment.
Right.
Like, you know, triple X video stores and things of that nature would not be allowed, but a normal video store is allowed.
Okay, yeah, my question was why,
Why put it in there? Because there's none in existence.
That was existing code. It's
That-
left over. Don't ask me why.
Yeah, I mean, I know these aren't supposed to be, they're not by scale, but this townhouse that you're showing with the 4,
Hold on. What's-
page 7 of 10.
I just copied that from existing code.
Okay, well,
That's whatever's
your
there.
N unit is never smaller than your 2 med units. So you've got all 3, you've got all,
Okay,
when you build a townhouse development, you have 5, 6, 8 in a row. They're all consistent. The end units will be a little bit wider, and the interior units are always basically, correct
Okay.
me if I'm wrong, Ron, aren't they almost always the same width?
Relatively, Roxanne, yes.
I mean,
I'm just,
it's a scaling thing. Yeah, I mean, it's a drawing, so I might have touched on the thing, but no, I mean, that can be corrected easy enough. It was not intended to any, mischievous purposes. It was
no, I'm
just
not saying that. I'm
Yeah,
just
no,
saying we want to
I
be.
got you, thank you. It was drafting error or mistake in the drawing from when I probably cut and pasted.
So you want you're asking for the residential zones that we eliminate, what is it, what is our normal for open space in a residential?
3 per 100?
3 per 100.
Yeah, 3 acres per 100 people
That's not with the MXD.
currently.
No, but he's got, so these that you have in here, the open space required for densities, this,
Which page are you on again?
page 2 of 10.
Under the 9823 section of the code.
Correct.
Yeah, that is existing, that is put in there for if we are deemed adequate. I believe that's what the portion of the code?
Yeah, this is
Okay.
this is the general, 9823 is the general requirement. It's not the APFO, which is a different chapter. These are the open space requirements, again, irrespective of whether we're in good times or bad. So.
Okay.
So the 3 acre per 100 people is
Would they be,
that the APFO or is that 98?
That is the measurement, first of all, that is the measurement town-wide to determine, I believe, whether we are adequate.
Adequate or not?
Adequate, and it is if the development itself, now this doesn't apply to MXD, so we're talking about
Right.
other types of developments, the threshold to qualify for the waiver, as we've called it, the APFO waiver is that ratio
Okay.
normally. Not so with MXD, not so with the DTZ either. That was tweaked.
Prime example would be the annexation we just saw. As long as they can meet their APFO requirements on site for open space, then that development can move forward through the APFO requirements.
Correct.
I'm just confused because as a mixed use, yes, there's residential and commercial, but we don't have, we did not put R2, R3, R5 in the mixed use. We just said what we wanted. So I'm very confused and I need some time to take, I need some time to take a look at that thing.
Well, I think given the size of this, it would be appropriate for this to be essentially an introduction of it.
Yes.
And then we all take some time to really, really study it, really review it, and see what hangs together, what doesn't make sense, what questions do we have, where do we think it indeed is potentially an improvement, where there's still concerns.
yeah, that's what it's intended for.
Does anyone have any comments at this point? Ron?
Thank you again, Ron Thompson, Vanmar Associate. I'm here on behalf of the Beck Property Development Team and offer the following comments on the proposed ordinance that's clearly targeting only the Beck property. And I do have copies of my statement for everybody there. First, the Planning Commission spent over a year developing the current MXD ordinance. The proposed ordinance amending the MXD ordinance is, we believe, disingenuous and disrespectful of the members of the Planning Commission for the approximately 1 year effort they took to develop the existing MXD ordinance. Second, the owners of the property obtained the rezoning of the Beck property to MXD based upon the approved MXD ordinance. If this amendment had been the basis of MXD, they would have never pursued the rezoning of the property as this proposed ordinance makes the property undevelopable. Third, if this ordinance were approved, it would not allow for Center Street extension to Route 27 as well as the extension of Century Boulevard to Route 27. There would be no completion of the town collector roadway system. We believe the ordinance should be rejected by all for the following reasons. One, the proposed ordinance attempts to revise the current MXD ordinance to a residential code which is completely contrary to the entire purpose of an MXD or mixed-use zone. It eliminates any flexibility in the design of the new community which you had built into your current ordinance. Two, the current MXD integrates commercial and residential. This proposed ordinance does just the opposite of making the MXD ordinance a residential code with maybe some commercial. Three, I note that the previous Beck property workshop plan proposed 20% open space. The proposal of 50% open space again results in an undevelopable project and no completion of town roadways. Four, dictating percentages of types of housing ignores the flexibility of design built into your current MXD ordinance. It is specifying a housing mix while ignoring the market demand and good design. Number five, it's inappropriate to change the ordinance in the middle of a development review process after so much time has been spent working cooperatively with the town on developing first the MXD ordinance and then with multiple workshops on the Beck property MXD. We're in the middle of trying to update that. It is unfair to change the rules in the middle of the game. Why would anybody invest in the town with such uncertainty? They wouldn't. This proposed ordinance is fundamentally flawed, so fundamentally flawed that it should be dismissed without discussion. Finally, it's important to note when presented to the town council for introduction, there was no support for it. It only received a second to end discussion and allow the town council to continue with their meeting. Pauses, wondering what to do. I urge you to return this proposed ordinance with an unfavorable recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. It was longer than 1 year that we worked on the MXD. It was 7 years that we worked on the MXD.
I was being kind.
Thank you.
Hey, Ron.
And I do agree that it kind of does, this is a ordinance that has to work for all mixed-use developments, not just one specific mixed-use development. At this point in time, I think that we need more time to discuss this. Sure.
I guess you know me, I'm Dave Pyatt, town resident, former council member and mayor. I became interested in the current mixed-use zoning in the spring when a plan was presented that would have 700 houses right under my nose and would have a major thoroughfare on Beck Drive. Now, the current zone has some flaws in it. I think we could all agree with that. A plan that would allow this type of development is not mixed use. It's high-density residential. I think everybody here would agree with that. What I think we don't agree on is what the solution is and how to fix it, how to make this proper. The current MXD zoning is so heavily biased toward the developer, it's just unbelievable. We have to do something, whether this ordinance does it or not. We have to take some serious measures. I looked at this before the August council meeting, and it was correct. It was not received very favorably. But the reason it wasn't received favorably is because one council member, Mr. Demoter, very strenuously wanted to have a vivid, robust, mixed-use plan. And what the developer was proposing, with a lot of disguise and hidden features, was a 700-unit residential development that would not allow Center Street to be developed. I sent you all, I don't know if you all got copies of my memo. So we're like, it's like that play River City. We have lots of problems. This ordinance is heavily flawed. I don't know if this is the answer. I think, in my own humble opinion, it would be an acceptable answer. I think it would correct a lot of the potential abuse, but whether it would be one that everybody would agree legally or not, I'm not sure. But I applaud, the team of Tom and Carl to come up with this ordinance. I thought it was a rather clever move, and I think it has merit. Now, you may want to tweak it, but don't sit there for a minute and think we don't have a major problem.
We understand. I mean, mixed use is the first thing that this whole thing is very new to us, and we've been going through the process and learning as we go.
I learn something every day when I read this.
I think we're attempting to do the best that we can with what we have. So we're trying to figure it out as we go.
Yeah. And I understand. I mean, I know most of you, some more than others, and I know you're trying. I really believe that. I've had conversations with quite a few of you. I know your heart's in the right place, and I know you're tried, and I can understand how you were led astray. Well, let me put it that way. How you get out of this, it's going to take some doing, but it has to be done. And I just want to say, you guys have a tough job.
Right. And we're not looking at one development. We are looking 10, 15, and 20 years down the road for the health of the town, for the economic health of the town, which we need, which is part of our priority. So, yes, there is some tweaking that needs to happen, and I really think that we need to each of us need to spend a little bit more time looking at it and contemplating what it says and how we can go about making this a better fit for everybody.
But it's going to be like fighting inflation. It's not going to be pain-free. It's going to...
No, it's not.
It's going to take some hard...
Absolutely it is.
Hard actions on your part and probably the council to get this straightened out. Anyhow, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hi there. I'm Sean Kelly. I live within town limits. Just a couple comments. So I am working with a group, some of you know us, Citizens Against Mount Airy Overdevelopment. We generally like some of the changes that are in this amendment. We thank you for getting introduced and talking about it. We know it's, you're going to do your homework and research and that sort of thing. Quick question, does everybody here, anybody here privy to some of the meeting notes that were made public for the Beck property and, dangling Center Street out as the carrot that may not even ever happen?
Those were private notes, and no, we were not privy to those, and nor should we be.
Okay. Well, I guess the cat's out of the bag. But, so, you know, in general, you'll find the citizenry not sort of, you know, it's not, it seems like it's Center Street at all costs. And Center Street may never happen for water issues, for the issues that are coming up today. So we just want you to keep that in mind. It's not, this whole MXD, Beck, it's for Center Street. That may not even be possible. And we're seeing through all that. So we hope you are too. I had a quick question just to clarify. So at the top of page 2, so currently this body has, hold on. At the very top of page 2. So so currently this body can waive open space requirements when we're in a deficit, correct?
Yes, and I'll explain why we did that. Because,
Can I correct something?
go ahead, it's not a waiver.
This does not create a waiver of the open space requirements. Simply provides a waiver of the APFO provisions that says that when the town is inadequate, the development can't go forward even though it meets the open space requirements, but does not waive. I've heard this many times, so I want to make sure everybody understands.
Thank you.
This does not waive the open space requirements. Think of the APFO as the traffic cop in the middle of the circle. You've got a green, but the traffic cop says stop. Okay, that's what the APFO says we are inadequate in water or in open space. Even though you meet all the requirements, you can't continue to develop right now until we catch up. That's basically what the APFO is. So this provision that is at the top of page 2 has to do with the waiver of the APFO. It does not waive the open space requirement.
The town's open space requirement.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. And I mean, I even say it wrong, so thank you, Tom. Right.
So is this change here so that you could possibly waive the, I'm probably going to say it wrong again, I'm sorry. The
APFO.
When you're not in deficit, or does that, I guess I'm just trying to understand that section. It kind of, the wording kind of goes in circles for me.
Tom, it's legal.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to burden you with that, but it's a little bit not clear, but
Okay.
it sounds like that's not being changed anyway. That's current code, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I think we're all in agreement that we need some more time with this? Yeah. Yes, Tom, Ron. I'm getting my names mixed up, I'm sorry, there's not that many people in the room.
Thank you. Just one follow-up comment based on previous comments. It was asserted that the ordinance is developer-friendly. I can tell you, working through the pre-concept sketch stage, that the town council has control over what is the final development. In Green Tree, we've gone from 112 to 70, we're now at 63 as a result of input from the town council. From Beck, we've gone from that big number that everybody talks about, I think the last one was maybe around 500, and still being refined. So it's not that we get our way. It gives flexibility to allow both the developer and the town council to work through a concept that can come back to the planning commission. It is in no way favorable only to the developer. It's favorable to the town that it gives them decision points that they get to look at in terms of excellence of design that they would no longer be allowed to look at if you regulated the way this proposed ordinance is being proposed.
Okay, thank you. So I think that's kind of, I don't think we need to have any further discussion or do any more discussing. We're not making a decision on this evening. It will be put back on the agenda in September. before we go on, the one thing that's not here is the discussion about the CC and the NP. I thought we were going to have that, but I guess we're not. We really, Carl, I cannot explain to you enough. We really need to have a joint session with the town council about this, because clearly they don't understand what we're trying to do. You know, if they want to not have this, that's fine. But that means that we can put CC up against residential without a buffer.
I'm trying the best I can, Roxanne. I know. I'll try harder, but.
It's not good enough, and we're going to send it back the way it is.
All right. What was that, Bill? Sorry.
It's not good enough.
Okay. Yeah, I've, every meeting I go and say, come here and do this. I got an email that said one of them did contact the commission chair and talk to him, and that's about it. Councilwoman Galetti was wondering if there was something tonight, but never saw it on the agenda, so I'm not sure why,
Well, we just simply need to meet and have open discussion about the pros and cons of moving in this direction. Because the way we see it, as members of the Planning Commission, it's opening a Pandora's box.
For the CC, you mean? Or
The way, for both of them.
Without it being regulated, without it being balanced, without there being proper buffering. It wouldn't matter whether it's CC or NP or LC.
Right. And it also, all of this back and forth, and we have a master plan here, and we can't really go forward with the master plan until we get these two zones kind of clarified and in sync with everything else.
Gotcha.
Carl, is it worth trying to see if we can set up a workshop between both of us? Do you think that's the next step?
We can try. I know the September one, the agenda's, today was the last day to put things on the September agenda, but we can try and do a workshop between us at some later date and see what, not later date, but it's like. I'm not trying to
It
later
has to be
date.
done, Carl, it has to be done. There's no trying about this, it has to be done. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, Roxanne, I'm not taking it personal, so don't.
Well, I'm apologizing to the public as well.
Okay,
I shouldn't be having a temper tantrum.
I'm not taking any, I try, and I can try again, but a workshop would be probably the best thing, and see, I can suggest that at the September 11th.
Okay, our last, our next September meeting is the
Currently, the
26th. Correct, September 26th. So generally, when a workshop, we would have October the 6th. But it's real close, so we could go to October the 13th.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm not following.
Me neither.
I'm trying to give him dates to say this is when we can do this. Do we want to do it on October the 6th, when our joint master plan workshop?
They probably don't want to do one on the 6th because they have a town council meeting on the 3rd. I mean, I can't speak for the town council.
Yeah, I'll bring that up, October 6th.
Again, we do have, in September, we have a meeting on the 8th, which would be the same, well, that would be before, after that.
Yeah, I mean, that's.
For that. We could
Yeah.
do the 26th possibly. We could do something at 6:30 on the 26th.
Of
of
September?
Possibly. Might be a good date or time,
That would be fine.
Is a half an hour adequate, do you think?
Before our meeting?
Yeah, I was thinking before our meeting, and maybe that doesn't work for the planning commission members either,
Well,
Do it at 7, starting at 7, and start, we're gonna have a lot of plans, I think, in the September? I know three.
See, this is why, and I said this in the beginning, we're going to get backed up, and we are backed up here, and we've got these little issues that we have got to settle, and
Well, what's on the 19th? That's a Monday.
19th of,
Sorry, September.
nothing happens here on the third Monday of the month.
Could we just meet for an hour then and try and?
I think it's going to take longer than an hour. But that's why I don't want to do it before one of our meetings. It has to be at a separate time. And listen, I know like everybody struggles. You don't want to look at my schedule. You get tired just looking at it. I mean, there are times when I leave my house at 9 o'clock in the morning and I do not get back until 10 o'clock at night. And everybody has its, and I understand that, but this is important. This is for the health and welfare of the town, and we've got to get it straight. So.
The 19th?
The 19th is an option, I guess?
of September?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just trying to get
Yes.
the month right here. 9/19 mentioned. So I have,
We have a workshop on the 8th, correct?
Right, but the town council's
Yes,
12.
that's correct.
I mean, what I can do is I can send all the council members an email tonight saying, are you up or available for some form of workshop regarding CC and MP on the 8th?
8th, the 15th, the 19th. The 15th is the week from the 8th. That's a Thursday,
9/15, okay,
or the 19th.
or the 19th.
That's 3 dates.
Okay, and I'll see what I get back, Roxanne, and I'll email you the results.
Okay.
So the September 20, so the 26th piece, planning commission meeting's off the table as a date? Then,
Well, you can put it, but it will, if we have a lot of
Advisable.
stuff
yeah,
and our,
yeah, I know.
and
what you
that
mean.
meeting works late, it's going to pull us, I mean,
Okay, no,
we
I'm.
did that one other time with the last Beck
we're-
workshop, and it
We're
was,
starting to have a growing list
yep.
of important topics,
Okay,
and we're going to have to spread them out,
gotcha.
I think.
All right, no, okay, so I'll just won't mention the 26th, just in case it's a bad date due to workload. So I've got the September dates of the 8th, 15th, or 19th.
Yes.
Correct, okay. All right, I'll send that around and see what I get back.
Okay, thank you.
What time?
7.
7? Okay. I know I'll be asked that too, so, okay, 7, okay.
And is it just for the
Yes.
NP and CC? We're not including the MXD as part of that discussion?
No.
No,
Just-
I was,
Okay,
keep it simple.
okay.
No, we have a lot of stuff to discuss ourselves with the planning commission before we send that back.
Okay.
All right, I'll bring it up and see what happens, Roxanne.
Okay. Moving on, your report, Carl?
You surprised me, okay. Hold on, let me find the right piece of paper here, hold on. All right. The Mount Airy Town Council was held August 1st at 7:30 PM. We discussed Green Tree, the pre-concept sketch plan at MXUCC for Green Tree. We took a vote on what was proposed at that time and turned that pre-concept plan down. Since then, they have resubmitted a plan. I believe also there was a Board of Appeals hearing on that where they received a 4-year extension for the MXUCC overlay for that property. We heard a couple other things. I'm trying to say, a lot of just general stuff. We did several budget ordinances to allocate money for a radar speed signs, a budget amendment for infiltration and inflow projects, which came out of ARPA funding. As I said, referred the 2022-25, the MXD ordinance to here, and set a hearing for the Charter Amendment Resolution 2022-2, the financing, budget, and purchasing, introduced by Councilman Demoto at 6:45 for the upcoming meeting on September 12th. That concludes my report. The next meeting is September 12th at 6:45 for the public hearing on the Charter Amendment 2022-2, and for the regular meeting for the town council to begin at 7:30.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Zoning Administrator, we have that report for July.
Report?
Just as a general comment, I saw Shiny Shell is moving ahead.
Yep.
Yes.
Hopefully, I do hope they'll be able to be at a concept final next month is the intentions. Because it's such a small addition to that existing building. I talked to the chairperson and she was okay with it moving forward as a concept final, so.
No, I'm happy to see. That was going to be one of my questions to you, but
Yep.
I saw the sign and I'm happy to see a new business here in town.
What about the eye center?
They're still working through stormwater management
No.
with Carroll County, so.
Okay.
It might come as a final with the conditions of approval through Carroll County. So it allows it to get to the next step. My only concern is, I don't want them to have to come back in a year for an extension because they're still working through Carroll County. That's my only concern.
Right.
That engineer has been, is less knowledgeable with the processes through Carroll County and the town's process. So
Is there any way we can help them?
we have helped them in the past and we're still helping them.
Okay.
But I can't control Carroll County stormwater.
No, I understand that. I just want to make sure that when he goes, he's got what he needs. And I know that since you work there, you could help him out, so.
That's why.
Thank you.
That's why I'm concerned about bringing it forward, but I do
Okay.
want to get it moving forward, so that might be the avenue we go down.
Okay.
So that might be one of the plans in September.
Okay, then we have the MPCA conference, the 25th to the 26th from 8 to 5. The most important day to that's the 26th, actually.
That's when all the key presentations.
Well, the 25th, you get dinner. A good dinner.
Is that included in the?
Yeah, yeah. The 25th has the planners training class as well as open meetings. So if any, which is always good to go to.
I'd like to see that be on 2 different times, because there might be somebody who wants to, maybe Steve, for example, or Brian Beta.
I think it is, isn't it?
They're at the same time.
I don't think they're running concurrent. Hold on, I'll check.
Is it on the NPC website?
What's that?
All of these are being recorded and you
This
can
is,
watch them.
the MPC, that's not being recorded, is it? I don't.
No, those two are not being recorded.
Anyway, I don't have my schedule in front of me to see if they're on the same one, same time.
We offer them at every conference.
I thought I had the preliminary.
It's 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. For the Planning Commission training course, and Open Meetings Act is 9 a.m. to 11.
Okay, so if you've already taken the planning course, which I think everybody has, you could do the open meetings if you could get there.
So once I register the members, then they'll have to go on, and I don't know if they have to schedule for that, if it's first come, first serve, or how that works. I'm not sure.
When you go on there, I think, look and see. I don't know if we have to choose between those two. I think you just have to show up at one or the other.
Okay.
And it's the same the next day. You don't have to register for these sessions.
Okay.
You just kind of pick and choose which one do you want to go to.
Gotcha.
And then we have our master plan workshop on September the 8th.
which we will be looking at chapter 2, I think, 2 and 3.
I think that's the intention is chapter 2. I'll get that agenda out.
Hannah, question. What would be the best way to extend a sincere invitation to both the Carroll County planning team or members of it, the leadership, as well as getting out encouragement to the other communities in the county that have a PC as well?
Right.
That since we're having an MPCA conference in Frederick.
I feel like the county planning commission is having a couple members go, at least the new members that we've gotten over the past year. I'm not sure about the other towns, but if there is still time to sign up, I feel like it would be very easy to send out an email to my coworkers, and because we all have
That would be
liaisons
awesome.
to towns, so.
Have you been getting the updates and the progress reports, and the developing agenda for the conference from?
I received it from the director, Linda, she sent it out to the county's planning commission.
Yeah.
Of course, it's October 25th and 26th, but you've got a discount deadline.
Okay.
In the registration fee that's coming up.
October 1st, or September 1st.
Okay. That's good to know. Yeah, I'll definitely send that out today.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
And then our next planning commission meeting is September 26th at 7 o'clock at Town Hall. Any other questions or information before we adjourn? Seeing none, I'll just go ahead and adjourn the meeting. I don't need a,
Still on mute? I'm not.
right,
sure.
no, he's,
Okay. Okay, I just want to make sure. I wasn't sure. I hadn't heard him.
Dozing off.
I just want to make
No,
sure.
he's here. I
hadn't
got it.
heard anything, so.
you can hang up now. Thank you for joining us.
You might want to second the adjournment. I don't know.
Well, you don't need a motion to adjourn. The chairperson can adjourn. So meeting's adjourned.